Yes. Hello, Leanne.
Hello, Tessa. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for being here with me on the podcast and about this curious conversation.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me and inviting me here.
Yeah, of course. I'm really excited to do this with you. I don't know if you listened to the last curious conversation, but that was the first. And I'm really following my heart, as in if somebody sort of drops in like, I want to learn more about this person, or so and today it's you. And to the people, this will be obviously on YouTube in video form or on the podcast. And I just mentioned to people that I'm really curious about you in a sense of I'm learning more and more about social media, and I just know there is so much work in it. And I have a lot of appreciation for you because I remember I shared that too, like about I think maybe it was 1 or 2 years ago that I reached out to you and asked, like, do you have some tips? As at the time I was thinking, oh, I would like to maybe engage more social media presence. And then, recently I've had quite some conversations with people where they feel quite stressed because of social media, which I totally understand. And yeah, now I feel more of a happy balance, but I'm really excited to also, yeah, learn more about that from you in this curious conversation and whatever else wants to unfold. Um,
Of course, yeah.
and so how we'll start, and I kind of leave it up to you. I always like to start with a little check-in, and I love to also obviously invite you in this space and that you want to share a little about you. But do you prefer to share first about you and then we'll do a little check-in, or would you rather do a little check-in and then you'll say something about you?
Let's check in first.
Wonderful. Really like go into it's all. Do you feel a little nervousy or no?
A little bit, but
Yeah.
this is now the second podcast that I've done, so I definitely feel a bit more calm and
That's good.
we'll let it unfold however it likes to. So,
Right. And it's always, it's always, even I like, although for me, I feel this is my new hobby.
yeah.
And how much I adore it. Of course, it's always a little like, ooh, what is going to unfold? But we just flow with it.
Yeah, you have to let go and just relax and go with it. So,
That's right. That's right. Okay, let's do a little check-in. And for people listening to you, you are so welcome to join us. So if you want, you can close your eyes for a second, breathing in and out. And if you are on the go and you're not really able to close your eyes or to stand still, you can still tune into this energy and just feel with it. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out, and instantly feeling yourself dropping more into the space, more into the moment, and really becoming present with your whole body. And so often we are somewhere with our physical presence, but then we are not fully there with our whole being. And so I invite you to really bring in all the little parts of you wherever you are, whether you are listening, whether you are participating, whether you are whatever you're doing, just be with you for a second, the most important person in your life. Breathing in and out, giving yourself a soft smile of gratitude, of showing up, of being here. You are so worthy and you are doing so, so well. Giving yourself a warm embrace filled with all the loving feelings, all the love you've felt till this point, all the love you are feeling, and all the love you will receive. Breathing in and out. You are here. Opening your heart, opening, softening, feeling your feet, feeling your legs, smiling with your heart and smiling with your smile. And let's bring our hands together for a second. rubbing the hands against each other. It's always nice to come back in this way rather than opening your eyes straight away. Bringing your hands to your eyes. Feeling that sensation on your skin. Breathing in and out. Feeling that you are here. Once again, feeling your feet, feeling your legs, breathing in and out, smiling with your heart and smiling with your smile. And then in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly blink open your eyes. And you can come back into the room. Hello.
Hello.
How do you feel?
Oh, I feel wonderful. I feel very calm and relaxed and excited.
Cool. So before we head in, I once want to also pull a little card because I love my cards whenever I work. I always think it's fun, like a fun little energetic. So, oh, I think Jew wants to come out.
Ooh.
We don't mind, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so when I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see. I'll show you the picture for a second.
Wow.
And then in any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Beautiful.
And then you can participate too. We're just going to pull a couple of little angel cards.
Okay.
You can say stop.
Stop.
Oh, there you go. Oh, acceptance. I'll show you. Always important.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want another one?
Yes.
Okay.
Stop.
Stop. Oh. Oh, obedience.
Ooh.
Interesting. What do you think?
Should we do another one?
Sure.
I think I'm happy. I think I'm happy with those two.
Okay, we'll leave it then. Wonderful. Okay, well, we'll come back to it at the end, I suppose, and see maybe they were guiding us in some sort of
Mhm.
way. Yeah, but well, Leanne, and also for me, I mean, I know you as the cousin of Victoria, of course, and I know you through what I see and kind of when we have some connection. But I'm so looking forward for you to share whatever you want to share, what you're passionate about, who you are, what you bring into the world. Who is Leanne?
Yeah, so my name is Leanne. I'm currently a business student in university. I'm just finishing up my last semester of my undergraduate degree. So I obviously love business and I love marketing, and I've kind of taken that with me through my Instagram business, which I started about 4 years ago now. So I create simple, healthy recipes, and I share kind of like lifestyle, wellness tips and things with my audience. So that has kind of turned from being just a hobby and something that I enjoyed into being a job of sorts for me. So it's been interesting seeing how that unfolds. But yeah, I'm very passionate about wellness, about intuitive eating, intuitive movement, and I also am a self-proclaimed bookworm. I love to read. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I love that. And I instantly want to say just something for the sound quality. Do you just want
Oh
to?
yes,
That's okay. I can
here we
hear you
go.
well, but it's sometimes like a little
Yes.
squeaky.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Wow. And I instantly already have a couple of questions in the sense of when you started your Instagram business, you say 4 years ago.
Yes.
When did you start your undergrad? Was that also
It,
4 years ago?
it was 4 years ago. So they both started pretty much at the same time.
Interesting. Did
Yeah.
you was that an intentional thing, like or was that sort of a coincidence as
It was coincidence. It was actually my roommate in first year. The girl who I was sharing a room with, she was the one who encouraged me to start this Instagram. She
Mm.
had her own page that was dedicated to more of the fitness side.
Mhm.
And, I thought, wow, it's so amazing what she's doing. She made all these connections and friendships, and she really found people who understood her, and just these great friendships through Instagram. So she
Mhm.
was the one who encouraged me to make my own. And at the beginning I thought, no, like there are so many other health and wellness Instagrammers out in the
Mhm.
world. Why would anyone want to follow me?
Mhm.
Um, I thought there's no point, but I
Mhm.
started and here we are.
Wow, that's and I can only imagine that maybe as well you were able to infiltrate the things you learned at school into your business over there.
Totally. Yeah,
Mm.
it was interesting. I've had a few courses that are kind of uh, targeting like social media marketing, and I'm sitting there in class and thinking, yeah, I'm doing all of this.
Yeah, and I can only imagine that you are almost more able to teach them than they are able to teach you, right?
Maybe.
Yes, that's a yes. The other day, I met a couple of people who are in social media business, as in
Mhm.
more, the backside of things, I suppose. And then we were also talking about their education and how digital marketing, etc. It's such a fast moving landscape almost that I suppose you need to be really flexible and in a sense, like you mentioned, intuitive eating, etc. But you need to be quite intuitive, right? Because there is no holy grail, like, oh, now I'm going to do this, or now you should do this.
Totally. Yeah, you have to constantly be evolving, and yeah, there is no rule book. There is
Mm,
no textbook for it, really. So you have to figure out what works for you,
mhm.
what you enjoy, what your audience enjoys, and
Mhm.
constantly be changing.
Yeah, and you know what I love too, and this is sort of kind of a little sidetrack because I mean I have other questions to ask you, but I'm truly fascinated, and I know so many other people too because often when you see, for instance, those numbers, it's quite interesting to me because so much shadow and insecurity is coming up, or judgment or whatever. Like instantly when you see numbers, you're like, oh wow, but in the end, like wow, we're both human beings, right? Like, and I know you are so
Totally.
passionate about that.
Totally. And there are often times where I'll get messages, or someone will send me a DM, and I will respond, and they will write back saying, oh my goodness, like I can't believe you responded to me. Like, thank you so much. And it really like blows my mind because I'm like, I'm just a person. Like
Right.
I'm not anything better than you by any means.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
um yeah, that kind of, it reminded me how at the very beginning, when I started my Instagram, I was very kind of embarrassed of it.
mhm,
I kept it a secret from even my boyfriend.
mm,
I wanted to keep it to myself because I wasn't proud and confident in it yet.
mhm,
But once I started growing and I saw the numbers were going up, I I felt in a way that, oh, I can be proud of this now
mm,
because there is some sort of outcome from it.
mm,
Which now that I think back, I mean, I was very young, so it's
mm,
hard to. There's also been maturity with it, but
mhm,
looking back, I should have at the very beginning said I am passionate about this and I
mhm,
am proud of it. If I
mhm.
have 2 followers or 200,000,
Mhm,
so.
mhm. I know, but it's so hard though. I mean, and you know what is coming up for me personally, I one of the fears which I don't really care about anymore because I'm thinking similar to you, like your audience, whoever is resonating with you, that's what it's about, right?
Mhm.
Instead of thinking my main fear is, oh, what shall other people think? Like I feel too loud almost, but then again, I know this is a thought I've had recently. For instance, if we have a famous actress or whatever, and she has whatever millions and she is posting whatever, she's almost justified because she is a famous person to
Yes.
do so.
Hmm.
And I thought there are quite, yeah, there are accounts out there which might not even be so much service related, but like you, like it almost sometimes feels superficial, but I know what I do is not superficial. And similar for you, there is such a dedication and service and community behind it, which I think is really, really important to also illuminate and share.
Totally. Yeah. And I often have people asking me, oh, what is your strategy for growing your account? How do you, get more followers and things like that? And I mean, definitely there was a time where, I was focused on the numbers and I wanted my page to grow. But now I've come to this point where that isn't my goal anymore.
Mhm.
My goal is to focus on the connections that I have with women and girls in my community,
Mhm.
and receiving messages from girls saying that you've helped me recover from my eating disorder. You bring such positivity and joy into my day. I go to your account to feel better and to feel happier.
Mhm.
That is why I do this.
Mhm.
So it really, it doesn't matter the followers, the numbers.
Mhm.
It is the real reason is the connections.
Yeah, and I think too, in my own business starting up and thinking about these things, like I think what you're sharing is such an empower or important lesson about it's all about quality rather than quantity. Because I really feel, this is maybe already 1 or 2 years ago, but I was thinking, let's think about, for instance, Einstein or Tesla or these incredible beings. They didn't have any social media, but for some reason their powerful work did find their audience, because
Mhm.
I really believe that when authenticity is so real, it will translate and it will resonate with the people who are meant to hear it, in a sense.
Mhm. Totally.
So
Yeah, social media has the power to, nowadays allow us to connect with others around the world and
mm,
to find people who resonate with your message.
I think that I really think that's so magical. This morning I was in a class of my own lesson, and then this lady from Italy found me. I don't really know how, but that doesn't even matter. Like I just adore that we were, connecting all over the world, and that I really love that of I love in-person connection, but
Mhm.
for me this is almost similar as in when, and like maybe this is a nice little bridge to my first sort of official question. But I mean, when you are present,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter if there's a screen between us, because we still are in the same sort of bubble of connection, if that makes sense.
Totally. You can still feel that energy through a
Hmm.
screen. I 100% believe that.
Yeah, well, and you felt it when we did a journey a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
It was so powerful. But yeah, okay. So, well, as you know, I'm really passionate about performance magic, and for
Mhm.
me, that word sort of describes that magical moment when, well, it comes from me from the sort of performing arts perspective, as in when I'm on stage as a performer and
Mhm.
either with audience or with a person actually on stage, you are so in the moment that you just forget about everything for a second. And I think it's so incredible that that beautiful, well, it really feels as magic at times. And I know there are so many ways to find that specific feeling, and I am just curious and excited to hear, but have you ever experienced that sense of what I call performance magic? And would you like to take us into maybe a memory of sorts that you might want to describe a feeling or when you felt that?
Totally. So growing up, I did a lot of dance performances. I did ballet and Ukrainian dancing, as
Mm.
well as even piano performances. I played piano for many years. So I had that on stage experience and that that rush that you get performing in front of an audience.
Mhm.
But now it's a little bit different, but I try and find that same magic and that same feeling through little things throughout my day.
Mhm.
So whether it be through a workout class that I've decided to do that day, whether it be a Pilates or a yoga class or a boot camp, or even just on long walks outside, listening to a podcast that really resonates with me, or even just sitting with my book and drinking a hot cup of tea, really just trying to find that magical moment and the magical feeling.
Mm. Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's everywhere in that sense. And when you are more and more open to it, and I suppose we talked about this before, but as I often work with people with quite some who are making impact and have quite a big reach of people, they are such bright lights, so therefore they shine far. But it's also super important to connect and to ground and to really keep nourishing yourself. And would you say those moments of presence are your sort of rejuvenation or your reconnection as well?
100%. I am uh, definitely an introverted person.
Mhm.
Um, I gain energy from being by myself
Mhm.
and having that time alone.
Mhm.
So, doing things like a workout, a walk, sitting and reading, um, those experiences and those activities really help me recharge and to then go out and to share myself on social media and talk
Mhm.
to others, so that I can be my best self doing those things.
Right. Yeah, really feeling that balance, right?
Hmm.
And so, as you know, like I always say, live the story you want to tell. Um, yeah, do you want to, like, are you living the story you want to tell?
I definitely think I am. And I think each year that goes by, I learn a little bit of
Mhm.
who I am and what I want to share with the world.
Mhm.
So I definitely think my Instagram community has helped me it really helped me recover from my eating disorder.
Mhm.
And with that, I'm able to hopefully inspire other girls to
Mhm.
show them that you don't need to be living this way anymore. You can live a happy, full, and energized life.
Mhm.
Um, and I kind of I the story that I want to tell is one of growth and impact.
Mm.
So right now I feel like I am making an impact through my Instagram community,
Mhm.
but I now have this goal of going back to school to become an elementary school teacher. So
Mm.
I feel like my older self will be able to make an impact on young kids, which
Mm.
honestly just fills my heart up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is, well, that's what they always say, but I feel that more and more as well. That is where the future lies, right?
Mhm.
That is where the future is. And I think it's very powerful when you also mention your eating disorder, because maybe that is my projection in a way, thinking, oh, maybe that's an uncomfortable story. But if I would ask, like, would you say there is also a massive mindset change over the years? And what has been, when you talk about growth, maybe, yeah, what has been that growth in a way? And what, when you look back at younger Leanne and Leanne right now, what is the biggest change you would say?
I think mindset is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there is a real difference in maturity as well. I know when I look back on 16-year-old, 18-year-old Leanne, it was very me, 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 and I'm the most important, and um, focusing on my body, my looks. Um, and with the growth and maturity, I mean, of course, I am important and
Mm-hmm.
I need to be practicing self care and all these things so that I can then be my best self for others.
Mm-hmm.
But my body is not me. My
Mhm.
looks are not me.
Mm.
My body is the way I am, like, it is the vehicle for me to go and live my life. I'm able to walk and run and travel and move throughout the world. And but it is my heart and my soul that are me, and my body just allows me to live and enjoy my life. So yeah, there has been a maturity, and there's been this release of these ideas, expectations for myself,
Mm.
and looking at, I have this one body,
Mhm.
so this is me.
Mhm.
So let's choose to be happy, and what good can we do, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah. Wow, that's so beautiful. So beautiful. And you know why it's so beautiful to me, as in it's so embodied. I just hear the truth in your voice, and I always really am in awe almost, or inspired when people are so open and vulnerable, because I really feel that's where the real power lies, and where we
Mhm.
can really connect and help each other elevate, because there is no message in sort of hiding parts of us. um
Totally. And I something that has helped me is with with sharing my struggles and my journey through my eating disorder recovery on Instagram.
mhm,
By sharing my story, I received girls messaging me saying, I relate to you, I connect with you.
mhm,
So I think it's so powerful if we all started sharing our struggles and our
mhm,
vulnerable moments more. We would all feel way less alone, because
mhm,
it's so easy to think I'm the only one going through something like this. Nobody can relate to me.
mhm,
You look at someone on social media and their life looks perfect because
mhm,
that's what they share. They share the good parts of it.
mhm,
But I think if we really all started to share all the harder times, we would
mhm.
all feel way less alone and way more connected.
Totally. And almost, for me, I always like to say too that in moments of challenge or struggle or harder times, that is also where the sort of figuratively shell kind of cracks open, and where the lights gets in and out is in when we
Mhm.
are connected to our heart. So harder times become almost harder times.
Mhm.
um,
Yes.
wow, that's gorgeous. And I want to, well, it's a conversation, so I like to briefly share too from my side that I've never would say have had an eating disorder, but I definitely had struggle with embracing my body when I was
Mhm.
younger. And in my sense, it was more a little poofed child, and I loved my cookies and everything. And my grandma would always say, Tessa, it will be okay. And then at one point, it kind of shifted into, I want to be on stage. I need to be thin. That was my thought. I
Mhm.
need to be thin in order to be on stage. So I went for runs, and I really had a time where I was counting my calories insanely,
Mhm.
where I couldn't almost not, I had so many rules and I couldn't really enjoy my food, and
Yes.
then over time I right now I kind of found a trust in myself that I can
Yep.
enjoy. And the other day I was listening to this podcast with well, people who know me, I love Lacey Phillips's work, but she was talking to Joe Dispenza. Do you know him?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he's really cool to look up too. But she kind of said, I have this person working for me, and she is so connected to the light, and she can eat ice cream and all sorts, and she doesn't gain anything. And I'm truly, and then she asked him, like, how does that work? And because his work is very much about the brain and wire your brain, etc. I'm so intrigued by the body, because I know there is such a body intelligence. And recently, I felt a little out of alignment. And for me, that kind of feels like I kind of describe myself being a little bit of a poofed elephant. So almost like the molecules are a little bit like set out as a sort of
Mhm.
rubber band when you go into the water, like, okay, here we go. um the other day in meditation, I sort of meditated on that, like kind of felt into what is that about, and I just kind of needed to release that shell and go into, and because I know the energetic body is so fluent and light, and all is well, but
Mhm.
it's there is so much thought and wisdom in that part of us.
Yeah, trusting yourself, trusting your intuition,
Mm.
is truly everything.
And so how do you do that then? What is that route for you? How do you trust? How do you tune into your intuition?
So it definitely is through moving my body intuitively.
Mhm.
So never forcing myself to do a workout that I don't enjoy that day. And
Mhm.
each day it changes. Some days I'm up for doing a more high intensity, very sweaty and crazy workout. And some
Mhm.
days like today, I just wanted to go for a walk and that's
Mhm.
it. And
Mhm.
releasing the judgment, releasing expectations for
Mhm.
yourself, because you can make a plan and your body and your mind could have a different idea, and that's okay, and you need to choose to go with that, and
Mhm.
to not judge it.
Right. Yeah, that compassionate voice is super
Hmm.
important, right? How
Totally.
do you, because I don't, when people have been asking me in the past, like, Tessa, you're so positive. How do you do that? Or how come? I'm just like, well, I don't wake up this way. I do a
Hmm.
little bit of work on it.
Hmm.
But what is your personal practice if you wish to share? Like, how do you maybe practice or tune in to that more compassionate side of yourself?
So my morning routine is very sacred to me, and it really, having that time to myself every morning
Mm-hmm.
sets me up to be my best self throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, a few things that are key for my mornings are getting some movement in. It changes every day, whether it's yoga, whether it's a walk. Um, then having time with my journal,
Mm-hmm.
just either writing down a few sentences, or sometimes I'll be writing for 20, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I totally don't have any expectations for the journal, but I
Mm-hmm.
do give myself that time to write things down.
Mm-hmm.
And then sitting and reading my novel.
Mm.
I love to read, and it is a very important and one of my favorite times of the day. So sitting and reading helps me to then be my best self for others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so recently I listened to, I actually saw this podcast on your stories of
Hmm.
Robin Sharma with Lewis House,
Yes.
on the, what is it called? The School of Greatness, right?
Yes.
So I'm curious, what time do you wake up?
So before the pandemic,
Yeah.
I used to wake up around 6 a.m.
Okay.
But now, since my days are a little bit more flexible and I have more control over, when I get my work done, I usually wake up around 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, but then
So not too early,
no.
but still
Yeah.
early enough where I feel like I have a lot of the morning, um, and I know myself, and I'm very much. Um, I like to get my work done earlier in the day so that the evenings I can relax a bit more. I definitely don't like to leave work for late into the night.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I get you. I, and that's very well put in a sense of you have more freedom to kind of choose when you're,
Hmm.
yeah, when you can do your things. I also recently right now start waking up at 6 again. I've done that for a long, long time, and now
Hmm.
I remember going on the ship, I was like, I'm going to wake up every morning. But then, as I had such late nights, that didn't really happen. But
Yes.
it made its rentrée. But I must say, though, I don't know how you feel about this, but when I think waking up at 5, that is real hardcore.
It is. And I feel like that would, if I were to wake up at 5 a.m., it would just be another kind of like rule and thing
Hmm.
thrown into my life. And at this stage of my life, I'm really trying to just let go of those rules. And I know sleep is incredibly important.
Hmm.
So I definitely would then have to go to bed earlier, which would then cut into my time with my family and just
Mhm.
activities that I also enjoy and that are also nourishing for your soul. So,
Totally.
yeah, we're not at that stage just yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Just a little thing to share though. The other day, I met these two window cleaners, and then they told me, "Yeah, we come here like every morning 6 o'clock." I was like, "Oh wow, what time do you wake up?" And then one went 2:30. What?
Wow.
2:30 in the morning. And then he said to his other friend, I was like, "What time do you wake up?" 3 o'clock. And I thought, "Oh my God." And I said, "Well, I recently introduced 6 a.m. again, but I
Mhm.
don't have anything to complain knowing that you're waking
Yes.
up that early."
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So, well, my song Guts, and I want to
Mhm.
ask you, what does guts mean to you?
To me, guts means going against the grain, and
Mm,
whether it means not following what society has expected of you, or whether it's what your family or friends have expected of you, but really turning inwards and trusting in that voice inside of you
mhm,
and following that.
mhm.
So I think that's what guts means, and really the magic inside of us is sacred, and really listening to that.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. And so when I always like to describe gut sphere as in,
Mhm.
there are moments in time when we need to go through that gut sphere, and
Mhm.
maybe, well, wherever your mind is taking you, but was there a pivotal moment in your life or something that you really needed to just go and just jump? Like for me, it kind of feels like this sort of like just do it kind of energy.
Mhm.
Yeah, do you want to share that with us? Because I feel those are always so transformational and super empowering. So I would love to hear one of your stories.
I definitely think, I mean, I can think of a few, but one where I definitely think I needed to have guts was making the decision for myself that I needed to get help for my eating disorder. So
Mm,
I had a number of people, friends and family. Of course, they were trying to help me and to, tell me that I needed help.
mm,
But until I decided for myself that I don't want to live this way anymore, I wasn't going to heal. I wasn't going to recover. So I remember the day where I decided I don't want to live my life this way anymore. So that took a lot of guts to acknowledge that there was an issue, and that I don't need to live my life this way. But also, even just recently, when I made the decision that I want to become an elementary school teacher, that took a lot of guts, because I kind of had the idea simmering in my brain for a few years now. I volunteered at schools, and I just I've always loved being with children, but there was always something holding me back from deciding to become a teacher. And I had these ideas in my head that, oh, it isn't a prestigious enough career. What will people think of me? um, I won't be making as much money as I could. Let's say I go into business, or some sort of executive job. um, but letting go of those limiting beliefs and those ideas, and trusting my gut, and knowing that I know what is right for myself, and it doesn't matter what others think of me, because this is my life,
mhm,
and I want to live it to my fullest. And it might be a different full life for somebody else.
mhm.
um, but we all have to make our own decisions, because we have to live our own life.
Absolutely. So, so wonderful. And I really feel like I'm just taking it all in and thinking I adored so much. And I just know I kind of feel like you're speaking my language, and I'm sure people listening along will really resonate with this too. because yeah, you're literally speaking my language. And you
Oh.
know, I don't know if I said this in the last podcast, but I'm going to say it again because I cannot remember when I say what. But I love this thought of sounding boards. You know, when you are with people who are sort of in a similar resonance or a similar vibration, when you speak your truth, because you are speaking from your heart, that is very, very clear to me. Um, you can really hear your own voice when you are with the right sort of sounding board. And then when you
Mhm.
are, for instance, with a sounding board, somebody who is in a different vibration, and you speak your heart, you might question yourself sometimes thinking, am I saying this? Like, that feeling.
Yeah.
I definitely
Mhm.
had that at times. I was once at a meeting and I spoke my truth, and it literally felt, in hindsight, thinking, was I articulate, or almost thinking I was talking in jabber talk.
Mhm.
Okay, I feel we need to soon wrap it up because I could honestly talk on for hours with you. I do would love to ask though, as a sort of last bigger question, I suppose,
Mhm.
to coming back to live the story you want to tell, as in, I really more and more learn, the more present you become, the less you can see into the future. But then again,
Mhm.
I do believe too that we all have a sort of soul's purpose and a unique gift to bring to the world. So you are a very blessed being to already live the story you want to tell. But if you look forward, as in what would be the
Mhm.
story you want to tell, as in, what you're sort of maybe working towards or maybe feeling into, what do you see for yourself, or what do you feel?
Yeah. So when I look into the future, when I see myself in, let's say, 10 years, I see myself having a family and having my own children. And I also see myself really making an impact on young kids. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like my soul, although I do think I'm an old soul, I often call myself a grandma because I love, sitting early in the evenings with my book and going to bed early. So I am an old soul, but I also feel I have a connection with young kids.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So I see myself inspiring and making an impact on young minds,
mm-hmm,
and helping them to grow and to be their true self and to live their best and fullest life.
mm. And they are still so close to spirit and to soul in a
Hmm.
sense. So
Hmm.
it's very exciting to work with them. And will it be maybe geared towards, maybe, do you feel a specific I just think, will it be to do with eating disorder or like self-confidence, or is there something you want to bring forward as in your message too?
I definitely would like to cater those messages as well,
Mm,
but I think I want to focus more on the education side
fair
of
enough. Yeah.
students,
Hmm.
but I would love to throw in mental health and wellness lessons, because I think we definitely aren't taught enough about these things as young kids.
Totally.
Um, it is so valuable, yet it goes untouched in lesson plans and in our education. So I'd love
Yeah.
to channel those things in as well.
Yeah. And it's almost like as if we kind of along the way, we kind of pick up those soft skills, but it would be
Yes.
so incredible for the future, people like yourself bringing that to education and make it more a normal thing to,
Mm-hmm.
soon I have a very exciting project I'm working on, but we basically go with the concept, a broken arm you can see but a broken heart you cannot see, but how
Totally.
to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, there.
I wonder, maybe at one point, Leanne, you'll have your own technique or your own program for kids, like finding
Yes,
you.
I know. We'll see. Maybe that is in the near future.
Who knows? I love that. Okay, well, I love that vision. I love it. And I'm here as a space holder. It's
Thank
gorgeous.
you.
Let's connect back to
Mhm.
the cards of the beginning, as in just
Yes.
seeing, when I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see. Hmm. And in
Mhm.
any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness, acceptance, and obedience. That's beautiful.
Mhm. Yeah, the word surrender really stuck out to me.
Mm. And somewhere, I think, because what I love, what emerged through this conversation was very much, again, the wisdom of intuition, but also your body, as in a sort of, I suppose, signal for
Mhm.
your intuition, as in you described it so beautifully, but that's basically the vehicle for our soul, right?
Mhm.
And to be friends with it. And I love obedience in a sense, like accepting that inner voice and being obedient to that, because
Yes.
that is not always easy.
No, it takes a lot of work, and
Really.
um, yes, it is not an overnight transformation. It takes months and years of hard work and yeah,
And hard work.
hard work. Yes, I love it.
So yeah, before we go, like, is there
Mhm.
anything else you want to share, as in, is there anything present you feel like you want to share, or I don't know, like, what are you taking with you from this conversation?
Mhm. The word surrender really stuck out to me,
Hmm.
and I think surrendering to the universe and
Hmm.
surrendering to your inner voice and your inner soul is
Hmm.
so powerful, because we have ideas, expectations for ourselves, expectations from others, but learning to surrender and
Hmm.
to let go of those ideas and trusting ourselves,
Hmm.
it will take us very far.
Hmm. Totally. And what I'll take on from this conversation, you for me ooze a certain sense of calmness and or pride, as in not pride like hello, like, but a couple weeks ago I worked with this sort of teaching of here I am versus I am here. And you are
Mhm.
so beautifully I am here and therefore here I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, totally. Thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I'll take that on. I feel so grateful, Leanne, that we had this conversation.
Me
As
too.
it's beautiful. So okay, I have one more last thing to do. um
Okay.
I have 6 words, and I'll tell you the word, and then you can say anything, like you can say a word back or whatever resonates with that word.
Okay.
Does that make
Got it.
sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Connection.
Relationships,
Trust.
intuition,
Ownership.
your mind and your body,
Frequency.
energy,
Authenticity.
showing up for yourself and for others,
And presence.
heart.
Hmm. Cool. Well, that was such a delight. Once again, thank you so much for joining. And let's before we leave this conversation, do you want to maybe share where people can find you if they've become curious to either see a face to your voice, or to learn more from you, or see all the gorgeous pictures or yummy recipes?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram. My handle is Leanne Lives Healthy. So
Mm.
you can come over and join the little community on Instagram.
Yeah, and say a little hi, because Leanne loves it as much as
Yes,
you.
yes, those connections are truly everything, and it's what makes me want to continue to work on my Instagram.
Mm. Oh, you are such an angel. Thank you so much for joining. And we'll say to everyone listening, live the story you want to tell, and let the love sparkle magic. Thank you,
Thank
darling.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.